All right, welcome to this month's Family Life Google Chat, and we are here with Natalie Gresh. Kind of excited about this one, you know, talking about nutrition, and I don't want to get ahead of myself. Natalie, so are you a nutritionist?
I'm a certified health coach.
Okay, so you're a coach. Like, do you yell at people for eating bad food?
No, I do not. I basically just help families. My desire is just really help families get off the standard American diet, which I call a fad diet, and to get back to eating fruits and vegetables. So I just really help them decide what that looks like for their family, whether it be taking them grocery shopping or individual coaching or meeting with the family, doing meal plans, things like that.
So you do basically consulting with families.
That's right, right.
Awesome.
I do workshops as well. I do a gamut of things.
Yeah.
Things that deals with just a healthy lifestyle.
Yeah. Well, I'm afraid you're probably going to be frustrated with me personally. No, honestly, like I've got so many questions in my head that I almost want to bump Andy and Jennifer off here so they don't get any questions in because I have so many, but I'm not going to do that. So Andy and Jennifer, feel free to chime in. But like, when you look at the world, I mean, I don't want to give South a bad rap, but I would say maybe even most prevalent in South. I mean, do you look around and you see people that are obviously overweight, and it just you're like, man, this is getting out of hand. This is a lot of people. And then you go into the schools, and it's the same. I mean, I've heard some people say something along the lines of, at this time in 20 years, heart failure and all that stuff will be the leading killer. I mean, how do you see this problem in general?
Yeah, it really breaks my heart.
Yeah.
At first, when I started into this whole field, it was maddening to me because I realized that our culture kind of allowed this. And really, I find people who just don't know.
Yeah.
They just see food as food and something to satisfy the stomach. And as Christ followers, instead of feeding this temple, let's actually fuel our bodies so we can do God's work.
Gotcha. So what I want to jump into just some specific examples so we can, going by with what you said. So take the Lucky Charms box, and I even did some research on this because my wife and we got into like a little silly argument as far as Lucky Charms are concerned. I said, look, the box says it's got this and it's got that, and these things are healthy. I said, now the marshmallows, that's bad news. But all the other stuff, it seems like there's some nutrition in there. I mean, is there any truth to some of the information on those boxes?
I'm going to have to burst your bubble and say, not a lie. The truth on the outside really is just what marketers want for you to buy. They want you to buy the product. So they're going to put anything on the outside to lure you in. And, obviously with this new health kick that's going around, that they're going to put things on the outside to make you think that it's a healthy product. But I really encourage people to buy food that grew on a plant and not in a plant.
Yeah.
Think about it. God put us in a garden, and so that is the fuel. That's the food that's really going to fuel our body. I do tell my clients about good, better, and best, where there are some products that are good. There are definitely products that are better, and definitely products that have the best deal on them. But on the average, we just need to be label detectives, I call it, and to really look at what the ingredients are, because that's the main key. Looking on the outside of the box, they just want you to buy the product, so they're going to put anything on the outside to lure you in to do that. But we really need to take the next step by turning the box and looking exactly what the ingredients are.
Yeah. All right, so I want to let Andy and Jennifer jump in here in a second, but let me just describe my household. I would say that my wife and I, we do a decent job. We're not knocking down fast food restaurant stores all the time. I would say maybe once every 2 weeks. So that's not a part of our regular diet. The kids maybe have a soda or Coke once a month. You know, they're not loading up on Doritos. That sort of stuff is a treat. So we're kind of good with eliminating all of what people would call junk food. But at the same time, I think my wife and I, we lament over the fact that maybe some of the meals are not as balanced. And we would consider our household somewhat busy, but I would say pales in comparison with a single mother who's busting her tail to make ends meet at a full-time job and a part-time job,
Right.
needs to come home and feed her kids. What do you say to her when she's just like, Natalie, all these ideas are great, but I can't do anything but pop a bunch of chicken nuggets in the microwave and throw it on the table. I don't have time for anything else.
Yeah, and that is difficult. And what I would share with that mom, if she really wants, you know, to change her family's diet, is just let's start somewhere simple where it can be. Let's try one day a week where maybe you're home a little earlier, that we could prepare something healthy. Because we definitely don't want to put guilt or people, you know, feeling shameful of what they're preparing if they really can't do it. But just kind of giving them simple steps where they can succeed, whether it be, you know, preparing some meals during the weekends when they're off to, you know, help out during the week when they're busy.
I like that. So you would be able to respond to that mom by saying, look, you're not going to be able to just change everything overnight. Let's try a couple of things. Right.
And really, it's just the change of a mindset. I think when people think that they need to throw out everything in their pantry, this is not feasible for them. But first it comes to the mindset, like, this is what I know. I know that the food that comes in boxes, bags, and cans are not the best for my family, and it's not going to fuel my family properly. But, you know, I need to think about food that God made and how I can best achieve that.
Yeah. So just how bad are those chicken nuggets?
There are some better ones, but, you know, mostly they're pretty bad.
Yeah.
Yeah. And this is a conversation we might have to have regularly because, I mean, the food industry is just out to make money, and they're going to do it the cheapest way they can possibly can, and that's when poor quality comes into play, and that's what just our bodies weren't meant to assimilate.
Yeah. Jennifer, Andy, I've got so many questions, but I need to be quiet. You guys jump in.
I know. I feel the same way. Wow, Natalie, I'm so glad, Joey, that you went from Lucky Charms to, like, what y'all really eat like, because I know the Svensons, Natalie, and Priscilla tries really hard to feed the kids healthfully. So we won't tell them that Joey doesn't eat any vegetables at all. Like,
That's
I
not
think
true.
that's what I hear. So, okay, so I'm glad we're getting like more realistic, because I don't know. I don't think that anybody feels like, you know, Lucky Charms is there's anything, you know, really nutritious in that. I think it's more about, just my opinion, Joey, I think it's more about, like, we moms, Natalie, we hear about people, I have a friend, I think you know her, Susan Antonelli, that grinds her own wheat and everything, and she showed us how, and she made the bread and everything, and I'm so inspired, and it tasted so great, and I just feel like, how can I fit that into my life? Because it's so busy. I have my patterns. I have 3 teenagers that already are set in their eating patterns. So it's not really about Lucky Charms for me. It's more about how can I go from finding everything whole, what do I look for? Stone ground whole wheat, which apparently, according to Susan, is like is not what I thought it was.
Mm-hmm.
And I've been looking for that for years. Like, I will not buy, you know, unbleached white flour. It's got to be like stone ground whole wheat. And she's like, well, I hate to break it to you, you know, but that's not actually as great as you think it is. So, like, my dilemma is, wow, I already thought I was doing pretty well, but after talking to Susan, I thought maybe I'm not. And I just wonder how I can go from what I thought was okay, and even stretched my budget a little bit to buy a few organic things and, you know, to have fresh things, and then you got to be able to make them or they go bad, you know, so it's definitely an investment to start eating this way, and now I feel like I need to even go further. So it's like, how can we look at that and not get discouraged and, like, really actually act on it?
Right, and that's what I love about my business is that I get to share with families my struggle and what we went through. Because I didn't, Lord has different plans for your life where we thought we would be doing something totally different. I'm a teacher by trade. And God started on this health journey with us when my husband was diagnosed with high triglycerides and at 34 years old. And we were just starting into full-time ministry as some pastoral role. And we knew that we couldn't continue down this road and be available for his kingdom work when we were sick in bed. So I just really get to share with families where to start. We started with meat. So whatever seems to be something that is doable for your family, whether it be, okay, I'm just going to kind of wean out cereal, or I'm going to start with adding more fresh vegetables into our diet. Whatever it is that you can start there, because if not, it does become very, very overwhelming, and then people they end up quitting. And we don't want that. So, especially in our day and age where it is so busy, people can get discouraged really easily. But what helped me was I think about my grandmother who didn't have a microwave, didn't have a dishwasher, still had to take care of 3 kids, homeschooling, whatever it was, and they still were able to cook healthy meals. And I feel that they're even more busy because they really had to survive, where we're just kind of going through life. So I think it's possible. It's just, like I said, it's just a different mindset.
Yeah, I like that you say that. It's just a change of mind, and then little by little. And I also love that you said maybe try like 1 day a week. I thought that was a great suggestion, to not just be overwhelmed, because I think some people, myself included, it's like if I want the perfection, I just get overwhelmed and like shut down and go back to
Right.
So what are your thoughts on moderation? Are you anti-chocolate cake for the rest of your life, or can we indulge in that once in a while?
Well, I always say that moderation, everything in moderation will, eventually come to fruition. I mean, you're going to have to, what is moderation to you? People are like, okay, after every meal or, once a week. I mean, obviously, it's okay to enjoy treats, but when we start on this journey, I wasn't about to give up things that my family enjoyed, like pizza and spaghetti and, chocolate cake. Yeah. I was just determined to find ways to prepare it differently and, much healthier.
Yeah.
I got Natalie, just like your personal story with your husband, I have a personal story. I have 4 kids, and our third youngest, my daughter Adeline, at the age of 2, was diagnosed with rheumatoid arthritis, and we were lucky to get basically the leading doctor at MUSC, Dr. Passo, and he turned us on to gluten-free. Now I know everyone's heard, gluten-free, it's big these days. I could tell you our story, which is a success and in support of gluten-free. We did make the decision to put all of our kids on gluten-free diets, and we do believe it had a direct impact on Adeline's recovery from her arthritis. Your take on gluten-free, organic, a lot of people get frustrated with it because it's more expensive, which it is. What's your take on all of that?
Yeah, that's a great question. I get that all the time. Gluten-free, and I think I have to go back to Scripture, and I always go back to Scripture. What does God say? And, God ate bread, God ate grains. He talked about that in Ezekiel, about, grinding spelt and barley together. However, we have to look at our culture now, and the way grains are made back then are not the way grains are made now, and they can be very inflammatory. And same thing with our produce. Our produce is being sprayed with, a million different chemicals, and although the FDA regulates one chemical, we're ingesting a chemical cocktail, if you will, of toxins into our body, in which our body is not able to assimilate. So yes, I do encourage families to try gluten-free, not necessarily gluten-free products, because when you take out those gluten from it, they need to have it taste better. So what do? They add more sugar. And so some of those gluten-free products you really have to be careful with, because they're just laden with unnecessary sugar as well. But yes, definitely buy organic when possible. There's a thing called the Dirty Dozen and the Clean 15. So it gives you a list of the most chemical-laden produce out there, and you can kind of buy those organically if you can afford it. But yes, very, very important because, again, our food industry is much different than it was even when our grandparents were alive. And I think this is why we're seeing so many different health ailments with our children and even in the adults nowadays. And it's really scary about what our children are going to be dealing with in the next 20, 30 years.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So, when, oh, I think I heard an echo. I thought one of you guys were trying to talk too. So, take someone that comes up to you and says, look, I am eating the correct amount of calories. Like, I've got my little MyFitnessPal app. I know I'm eating the right calories. I'm exercising. Hey, I even have a decent physique. I don't have a whole lot of extra, body fat. And you're like, well, what are you eating? Well, I buy my fruit at the grocery store. I get a bunch of lunch meat that's in the packaging, the Kraft, cheese. I do Hot Pockets probably 5 times a week. And next thing you know, you hear their whole diet, even though it's the correct amount of calories, it's all preservatives, all, and got, like you said, the things that are sprayed on the food. What's going on in their body that's detrimental by putting that stuff in there? You know what I'm saying? I mean, there's got to be, you wouldn't be this passionate about it if there wasn't something severely wrong with what they're doing to their body. I mean, what is that?
Yeah, I can go on and on. Like, definitely in deli meats, we have to look out for nitrates, except for the brand Boar's Head, and I'm going to say that because they do not put nitrates in their turkey and roast beef. So if you're going to buy a deli meat, definitely go for the Boar's Head route. But yeah, the whole calorie thing, I've had many clients who come to me and say, well, how many calories should I eat? As long as you're eating fruits and vegetables, I'm not really worried about calories. I worry about healthy fats, lean protein, good vegetables and fruit. But I do not encourage clients to count calories. For me, that's not a lifestyle, and I want my families and my clients to enjoy a healthy lifestyle. And if I have to sit and count, exactly how many calories I have, that is not a healthy lifestyle at all. But no, what's going into their bodies is just a lot of preservatives. And again, like, our bodies were not made for something like that. So it's just, it'll turn into fat, it'll put on extra weight. And it's unfortunate that some people can, be exercising and sabotage their diet, or people are, eating a proper diet and not exercising. It all goes hand in hand. And obviously, a healthy lifestyle is more than just nutrition, more than just exercise. It's about your mind, body, everything that's going on. Your relationships can be bad, and you're not in a healthy lifestyle.
Yeah. Do you are you pretty frustrated with a restaurant like McDonald's, for example, that market to kids with fun characters and Happy Meals, and maybe even tries to say, like, well, here's the healthy option, like, you can get this Happy Meal and you get these little apple slices. Like, does that really bother you, those sorts of things?
It bothers me greatly, and I really don't care what a man with a big red shoe say. It's not healthy.
Yeah.
If it comes in a bag, and if it comes in a bag to the window, you've got major problems. So I don't even associate with the fast food industry. I mean, I say, if you're in a situation where you have to buy it, you obviously make the wisest choice possible, and obviously some apple slices instead of French fries are much healthier. But the fast food industry is there. It's just cheaply made food that, is not good for us.
Now, do you think as people are educated more and more that we'll see fast food restaurants go out of business, or is that a little too optimistic?
Let's go that route. I would love to be that optimistic. That would be awesome. I think we're heading down the right path. Whether that will be obsolete, I'm not sure. That's losing money there, and that's what you're basically dealing with in the food industry is money. If they can make money off of it, it's not going to go away.
Yeah. So Jennifer kind of outed me, and she wasn't 100% correct about me hating all vegetables. I eat vegetables that go in a salad, like onions, cucumbers, like if the radishes are cut up, even spinach and salad and stuff. But she is right. I don't like vegetables. I didn't like them as a kid. My parents said that would change. Still don't like them. Now, again, there's some examples, exceptions, like, tomatoes. I don't know if it's that a fruit or vegetable. I'm not even sure. But I like tomatoes in things and that sort of deal. But, I mean, cooked carrots, don't like. Broccoli, unless my wife makes it. She makes it taste really good. And she says it's healthy. Maybe it is, but it tastes too good to be healthy. Let's see, cooked spinach. I like it in like stuffed shells with like a lot of cheese and marinara and stuff. So I mean, rutabagas. I don't even know if I remember what that tastes like. I mean, there's so many vegetables. I think it would be miserable for my family if I ate in front of them because I would be gagging. So are there ways of getting, like, could I pick 5 vegetables that I can stomach, so to speak, and that cover my bases, or really it's not that easy?
Yeah, it really isn't that easy. It's very important that you're like my typical client, Joey, so it's okay. I had a client came to me that said, I can't remember the last time I ate something green, but so you're okay.
Yeah. I wish I loved vegetables as much as I love fruit. Fruit is no problem. I could eat fruit all day, every meal. I love fruit, but vegetables, it kills me.
Yeah. Well, it's interesting. When my family really did this shift in our diet, we started taking out a lot of processed foods, a lot of sugars, just things that we just didn't need in our diet.
Yeah.
Our taste buds changed. And I remember that when my family or my kids went to a birthday party and I said, Mom, can I have a cupcake? And I said, sure, have a cupcake.
Right.
When they came home from the party, I asked them, I said, so how was that cupcake? Expecting that they just like, oh, it was the best thing ever. And they looked at me and said, I couldn't eat it. It was too sweet. Mm-hmm. So what we put in our body is what we crave. So if we're putting junk, we're going to crave junk. And yes, vegetables are going to taste nasty to us.
Yeah.
Think about all the preservatives on our tongue and sugar, and that tastes sweet. That affects our brain. But when we start to put good things in our body is going to crave good things. And so I've had many clients who've had a really changed direction where they started to quote unquote stomach vegetables at first, but then they started craving them. And that's just an awesome thing. That's how God made our body, to crave what is actually put into it. So the first step I would say is just try to wean some of those things out of your diet and add some vegetables in, and I guarantee you'll start craving that, and that'll be awesome.
Yeah.
Natalie, I have a few questions for you that came to mind, and I don't know, I was off Wi-Fi for a while, so I don't know if y'all answered this, but like, what would you consider fast food? Like, let's say that someone doesn't normally eat fast food, but they find themselves in, like, I didn't pack something, all of a sudden I'm out later, or something changes in your schedule that you planned, and oh my goodness, all of a sudden dinner's an hour earlier, I don't have time to cook. Like, what do you do to solve what most people just run get fast food? Do you go to a restaurant, or is there something you cook at home that you could share with us that is fast for you and good?
Yes, of course I do go to restaurants. You will see me out there to restaurants. But obviously we're very choosy what restaurants we go to, and make the wisest choices possible when we're there. But one of my things I tell my clients all the time is to have a stocked pantry and refrigerator. If you can have your pantry, and I give them a list of like just basic things, you can always whip up a meal in minutes. So that is the key. When you're left coming home to an empty refrigerator or pantry, that's when Domino's is on speed dial. So I always tell my clients and families that I serve is that we need to have a stocked pantry with just some essentials like chicken broth, beans, rice, things that you can make quickly, and it's still healthier than running through the McDonald's window.
So what would you whip up? Like, I think for myself, I can make vegetable soup in like a half hour with something to go along with it. We do breakfast tacos a lot, and I'm thinking about my white tortilla and feeling guilty about it. But breakfast taco, they all know if I'm grumpy, tired, or in a huge hurry, it's like going to be breakfast tacos. And my kids can all do them themselves. I'm like, breakfast tacos and apples. Something like that. So like we have our few things, but like I said, the breakfast tacos have white flour tortillas. So I know right there that that's not exactly checking the box. And in fact, see, this is what I'm talking about before. Like my eggs, I would think, well, I buy eggs at a warehouse store, so they're probably not, they're not like I don't even know what kind of eggs to buy. Like the the 5-grain omega-3 or what, you know what I'm saying? Like, I don't know how to go from big box store where I buy, you know, baby carrots, organic spinach, broccoli, you know, good things, but I buy my eggs en masse. I don't buy organic meat. I buy milk, you know, which is probably, you know, I just feel like I don't know what choices to make to even start. But I guess that's what you do for a living, is you kind of look at what people do and then you kind of give them a plan to start with. It's
That's
realistic.
exactly. And one of my biggest thing my clients love is me taking them to the grocery store, because this is an art of grocery shopping, and it's amazing how families will come out of the grocery store like, that was the best thing ever because now I know. But yeah, I meet with families at their home and I go through their pantry.
Oh,
not judgmentally. I do not do it with judgment. It's hard.
Joey's going to have to put the Lucky Charms under his bed before you come. So.
And then we just kind of go from there. And then I usually take them grocery shopping, kind of go through aisle by aisle and just show them, you know, the good, better, best, and why, you know, this isn't such a healthier choice and what are some healthier choices.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, one of the things I tell my clients all the time is that if you don't buy it, you don't eat it. So if it doesn't come home with you from the grocery store, you're not going to eat the white tortilla. So next time, don't go buy the white tortilla. You know, buy an extra, you know, something a little bit more healthier. So
I know I do that great for, like, you know, 1 or 2 shopping trips. And then I'm like bringing home the bag again. So
yeah. If it's in my house, it's going to be consumed. So if I don't buy it, I don't eat it. And I sometimes have to say it to myself in the grocery store. If I don't buy it, I don't eat it.
Yeah, that's good. That's a good little saying.
Yeah.
And I also want to say that I agree with you about the sugar deal. Like, I have found that my husband and I do this little 3-day kind of cutting out the bad carbs, kind of eating like lean meats, vegetables, and fruits and stuff for like 3 days. And then we go back to kind of normal eating. Well, at that time, like on Thursday, we do that Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, kind of a lot actually. And then on Thursday, I feel like I don't want the same things. It like breaks the cycle for me.
Yeah.
It breaks the cycle of wanting certain carbs and certain sweets. And
that's exactly right.
Yeah, I think that I agree with you there, and I like that you said that. I want to ask you about fads. Like, how do we know? How do we know when they say gluten-free is good for you, or coconut oil is good for you? When I was growing up, it was bad for you. Like, how do we know what's true and what's not true?
Yes, I mean, that was very difficult for me when I first started out. I really didn't have anyone that I really knew, family members that were doing this, or friends. So it was a lot of research, and so that's why I'm so thankful that I can take the long hours I spent on the computer or diving into books to help families navigate through this. But yes, there is some things that, you know, are out there like, okay, what's good and what's bad. Coconut oil is very good for you. It's a great saturated fat. Our body knows what to do with it. But back when we were kids, it was a lot of vegetable oil or canola oil. But no, those are bad fats. Good fats are coconut oil, grapeseed oil, avocados, lots of nuts and seeds, things like that. But yes, it is kind of hard for someone who is not, you know, into nutrition about to kind of navigate through what's good and what's bad. So that's definitely where I come in and kind of help people figure that out.
I got a question. As I get older, more and more I care less about the way I look because of what I eat, and more like you're talking about, just the cleanliness and the toxicity and things. And I'll fully admit I'm probably the worst in this entire group as far as what I put into my body. But for someone like me that wants to make those changes or is trying to take steps towards cleaner eating, how resilient is our body, not necessarily with weight, because I think that's a byproduct of eating right and exercising in general, but how resilient is our body with cleaning out those toxins? Are we talking when we've been 35 years been putting junk into our bodies, it's 35 years of built up, nastiness, or I'm pretty sure you're probably going to say it cleans it out, but, how long does that take?
I think it's different for everybody, but no, our body wants to heal itself, but we just don't let it. You know, and so the minute I tell people who are smoking, once you stop smoking, your body automatically kicks in to start healing and repairing itself. So really, we just need to let it. So the first step basically is just to stop and to start, you know, eating cleaner and to get rid of those toxins. So yes, it does not take long. And just from experience from our family, after my husband was diagnosed with high triglycerides and given a lot of medication to, you know, to actually minimize the symptoms, I started to help him change his diet because he was just eating what he was normally eating, and I just thought this was so ridiculous. But within 2 months, he had lost about 40 pounds, and within 6 months, he was off his medication completely. And I would say this journey for us has been for about 4 years now, and we rarely get sick. And it's such a great thing to wake up in the morning feeling rested and ready for the day, because think about it, if we don't have our health, we don't have anything. It affects everything in our life, from our job to our relationships. So yeah, definitely, once you start eating clean, your body is very resilient. It can kick in and start to heal itself immediately.
Awesome.
Yeah, that's an amazing story about your husband and the change in his health. Like, I just caught that. I'm not sure how long that story was, but I heard you say he had lost weight, which of course is a byproduct in a month, but he was off his medicine in a year or something?
Exactly, in 6 months, because he was given medication and just very little nutrition explanation. And I just thought it was ridiculous when he came home and he was continuing to eat what he was normally eating, and taking this medication that the doctor said he most likely would be on for the rest of his life. And I just wasn't willing to accept that. Yeah. And I knew that, you know, from Scripture, God says to honor our body, and we need to do that with even what's down to what food we eat. So yes, he lost about 40 pounds in 2.5 months, and we definitely started eating better from there.
Fantastic. That's quite a story. Well, I just love your mindset, and I thank you for sharing all that with us today. I think we got some good tips. And your website, Andy, are you going to put up her website so we can kind of get an idea of where people can go if they want to have consulting? Is that what you call it when they call you and have a consultation?
Yes. Yes.
Personally, that would be great. And so there's no outline that you can even really leave us with. It's individual, isn't it? Family by family.
Probably. That's right. Right. Okay. Where you're at and where you want to go.
I still got some good ideas just in how you think today. So thank you for being so transparent with kind of how you see things.
Well, I just encourage families to, you know, go back to eating where God intended us to eat, so we can be His vessel and we can continue to do His kingdom work. Mm-hmm. We really need to take care of this vessel and this temple He's given us. So thank you for having me. I really appreciate talking with you and answering the questions.
Yeah, Natalie, is there anything, as I put your website up here, is there anything that you want to share just about the website where people should go to connect? Or?
That's right. Yeah, you could just, where it says work with me underneath that, you can just click on that and it tells what I offer, what health coaching is, kind of my my story, my own personal health story. You can sign up there for a personal consultation, or send me an email and we can go from there.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Very good stuff. Nice meeting you. Nice having you on here. I think a lot of people are going to enjoy this. I'm going to try not to let my wife watch it, but outside of that, it's great.
I'll make sure she watches it, Joey.
Thank you guys very much. Bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye.